Mayhem breaks out as Michigan tries to plant the flag on Ohio State. We got week 13 in the NFL, and what's going on with Zion Williamson? We've got that and much more coming up next on Good Sports. Thanks for joining us. I'm Randy Goode, and as always, we really appreciate everything and all the support that you give. If you're watching this, just quickly hit that subscribe button. We had several people. We were so thankful on Thanksgiving. Multiple people subscribed again, and we so appreciate that. So it helps us get our content out. We have more and more people coming. This next week, we think we are going to hit a milestone, so we're hoping to be able to celebrate next week with another major milestone. Stay tuned for that. But be a part of things and hit that subscribe button. It really does mean a lot. I am joined alongside Trent Sneed, and we are going to be talking about a crazy weekend in college football. It starts off with a tremendous upset as Michigan takes down Ohio State in Ohio State. And to set the stage, the game is over. The interviews are happening. The people are shaking hands, and Michigan goes and takes their flag, and they want to plant it right on Ohio State, right in the middle of the field, and Ohio State wanted nothing to do with it, and all of a sudden, mayhem just broke loose. Fights all over the place. Then I believe they grabbed the flag again and tried to replant it after multiple blows, and it just kept going on. I just wanted to get your take on that, Trent, as we talk about this weekend. A real question here. Is this bad sportsmanship, or is this actually make a rivalry special? What is your thoughts?
Listen, I love it.
Yeah.
I do. As much as, okay, it sucked to be Ohio State.
Yeah.
But in Michigan's defense, if you don't want to get a flag planted on your field, then don't lose.
That's true.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest math you could possibly do. That's like 1 + 1 = 2, right? You can't really mess that one up.
Go plant the flag next year in Michigan.
Yeah. This is what I don't understand is why Ohio State, I mean, I get it. It's a pride thing. It's a pride thing. But why even react to it? I mean, I don't know. I struggle with the fact that they really, I struggle with the fact that they really thought it was that big of a deal that they had to then escalate the situation. But I could see why they would be upset.
Yeah. Is it good sportsmanship? No. It's not good sportsmanship, right? It's not necessarily something that you would say is, at the end of the game, one of the things that's neat is people shake their hands and say congratulations, and you move on. So is it good sportsmanship? No.
No.
However, one of the things that's missing in sports is the old hatred is something that actually creates passion.
There's not enough of it, that's for sure.
And everybody now has become friends, like say the Banana Boat friends back in the day with the NBA. And so I remember back when the Celtics and Lakers played and they clotheslined each other. There were fist fights. The Lakers went into Boston Garden and they cranked the heat up to 85 degrees during the mid games. So when they'd come in at halftime, they were sweated out. It was just pure. And what it does is it creates fans. There's excitement. There's passion. And so, no, I wouldn't say it's good sportsmanship. But for, the enjoyment of the game, it's exciting. I mean, it does create excitement. You already want to watch next year. Will Michigan return the favor?
Yeah, I do. I do already want to watch it.
Yeah, so it's fun. Baker Mayfield did this years ago to Ohio State. And what happened? Bosa, the first time they're in the NFL together, he sacks Baker Mayfield and he plants the flag. It goes back and forth. It's part of the game. I think you got to be, I know it's hard being a good winner, but you can also be a good loser too.
Oh, yeah.
And so the mayhem afterwards, the problem is the fighting.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to do that.
Yeah, I think I saw something that they were going to find the schools, but they weren't going to single out any of the players.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good that the players aren't holding up their own standard. But it's good that they're not singling out players for that situation.
And I didn't see the coach. I mean, what are the coach's responsibilities? They kind of just stood around.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think you should be like getting your players off the field?
Yeah, but what do you even do? I mean, there's so many of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at least I would think you'd at least try. But I don't know what I would do if I would I leave the field if my friend, my brother is getting punched?
No.
You don't leave.
You don't leave.
So it's just, it only takes a couple people to tango, and then you're going to have that. So I don't know. We wouldn't be talking about it.
No.
We would say, whoa, man, what an upset. But this made the rivalry special. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Overall, you think it's a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for the sport.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. There's a lot of people who are like diehard college football fans.
Yeah.
And I want to be one of them,
Yeah.
you know? But the reason why they're diehard college football fans and not diehard NFL fans is because the culture that's surrounded with college football.
Right.
And it's just completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. It's like 10x, right?
Yep.
You get maybe not as good athletes, still
Yep.
great athletes, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But you get maybe not as good as athletes as you would get in the NFL, but you get the culture that they set that's just, it's different. It's completely different. The energy that's there is insane. So I think it's good for the sport.
And Ohio State can still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? And they can have the last laugh. They can win it all and come back and do well. But
They probably won't, but
probably not. But that made it fun. I mean, everybody was talking about it. So be curious to see what happens in the future. My guess is, with the way our world is about peace, that there's just going to be very peaceful next time. That's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope to see that there'd be a little passion next time. But
yeah.
I know that back in the day, I as a coach, I maybe helped inspire a little bit of rivalry and stuff like that.
Not
so,
you.
Yeah.
Not you, Randy.
Yes. I mean, competitiveness does that. That helps you. That drives you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so then the next time you play, you're like, I ain't getting embarrassed. I'm not getting embarrassed. And that motivates you differently in the off season.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think some of it's good. I would like to do without the fighting afterwards. But as for the planting the flag, can't say I haven't done something like that in the past.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
I'd be a little hypocritical.
We've all been there.
So moving on to the NBA.
Okay, let's get into it.
First want to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They started the season, I think, 15-0.
Mm-hmm.
You have teams like Golden State that started off really hot. They've tailed off here recently.
Yeah,
but
good.
Cleveland, they came out, and the team that stopped them was the Celtics. They stopped the streak, and then the Celtics went on a streak, and Cleveland just paid them back.
Mm-hmm.
Are these two teams pretty much destined to meet in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, they look really good.
I really like Cleveland.
Yeah, they have a nice roster.
The problem is Cleveland just doesn't have the experience that a Boston has. Like,
Yeah.
like Cleveland's still going to struggle against like maybe a Miami Heat, right? Just a much more experienced roster.
Because the playoffs are different.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Mitchell has some experience.
if you want to ask why the NBA is not selling tickets like they used to, it's that exact reason, because the playoffs are different.
Yeah.
The playoffs are completely different.
Yep.
I mean, you have players that quite literally are known at this point in their career as they'll show up for the playoffs.
That's
right?
terrible.
So I mean, yes, they're completely different, and there's a lot of experience that goes into playing those 7 games, right?
Right.
And a team like Cleveland's going to struggle against a probably like a Milwaukee Bucks.
Yep.
I can see them struggling against the Bucks. The Miami Heat, even Chicago's got some experienced guys on their roster. So the 76ers, if they get in, those would be like more experienced teams that I would see them maybe struggling against, who would maybe do a little bit better in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I still think that, man, they are playing at a whole nother level.
Yeah.
If they can kind of bring it all together, them and the Celtics are definitely destined to meet.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah. There's some really. I was surprised Cleveland was this good.
Yeah.
They have a couple guards. They have a couple power forwards that look really good. And I'm surprised out in the West at a few of the teams.
Yeah.
Golden State is starting to taper off. Mavericks are starting to win some games. They're 8 out of their last
This
2.
is insane.
They struggled right off the bat.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
I
They're leading the West.
The Oklahoma. So that's what I was just about to say. Oklahoma City, Cleveland, two young teams could meet.
Very young team.
That could be fun.
That would actually be really enjoyable.
That would be a fun.
Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, both those teams make it to the championship game.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty interesting.
Oh man, it would be a run and gun. That would be a fun matchup. And I'm surprised at the Timberwolves. What is going on with the Timberwolves? They're 10-10.
Yeah,
I know different things can come into play, but I thought they would be up there. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking from a young standpoint. OKC, Cleveland, be fun to watch.
Is there an adjustment period to an Anthony Edwards though?
I don't know.
Sometimes I wonder if Michael Jordan wasn't successful early on in his career because he needed to be older for people to show him the respect that he needed. Because this is the thing, is like the respect that Michael Jordan commanded out of those Bulls teams when they won the 6 championships is something like you're not going to get that from a freshman out of college.
That's true. It took them a while to listen to Kobe.
Yes.
Same
thing.
And you can rub people wrong when you're young. They're like, listen, young punk, don't tell me to come in here and do that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it could be. You earn the stripes. You have the certain amount of all-star games. You have the certain amount of pedigree, and then maybe people start listening to you a little bit more. But I'm surprised at them. The Warriors, like I said, they're tapering off a little bit.
Which is expected.
It's an up and down. The Lakers are 8. Connect. I mean, the Lakers did well with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got a few pieces there that's surprising for the. They got a steal. He's the steal of the draft.
I think their biggest issue, though, with the Lakers that they're still going to run into is they don't have a 3,
Yeah.
They have a really talented 4 and maybe a really talented 5, but their 3 is struggling. So, like, you have LeBron and Anthony Edwards, right? Yeah. And then who's your third player?
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, it's just like...
Anthony Davis just came out, I just heard him say he doesn't want to play center. So he says he's 6'10". And they go, are you really 6'10"? He goes, oh, I'm 6'11". And when you get that, they make you be center. But if I'm 6'10", I can say I'm a power forward. So I don't like guarding centers.
Yeah.
So, anyway. But
sorry, did I say Edwards?
You said Edwards.
Oh,
we were just talking about him a bit, but Davis, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the Knicks are doing well. In the East, you got the
Rockets.
Bucks. Yeah. Oh, the Rockets. Yeah, they're doing well too.
Yeah, what's going on there?
They're 2. They're 15-6 right now. You got the Rockets. You got the Grizzlies up there.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I couldn't tell you 5 people on the Rockets. 5.
They're 8. They've won 8 out of their last.
Who's scoring these picks?
Them and the Mavericks are the hottest teams in the West.
Dylan
right now.
Brooks is on the Rockets.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
He's a LeBron stopper, according to
Jalen Green.
Yeah.
Love me some Jalen Green.
So
okay. Seriously, who's scoring their points?
So, and you know who had a good game the other day for the Clippers is Harden. Harden had his 30-some points, almost had a triple-double, 9 and 11. So
you do wonder a little bit for some of these stars that are aging out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much longer do they have?
Yeah.
Like a Chris Paul. Like, how much longer does Chris Paul have?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like Russell Westbrook. How much longer does Russell Westbrook have?
Oh, he's been tailing off.
I think that Jeremy Lin retiring really put me in the mood with the NBA where I'm just like, man, I'm gonna really hate to see some of these people go.
That era.
Like, imagine that we're not far. Like, the next 2 to 3 years, we're gonna see Kevin Durant and LeBron James retire. Yeah. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. And I guarantee there's some other big name players.
This is why they've got to change things, because the NBA has become so perimeter that it is hard to watch, and obviously you got Steph Curry that does things and he's got pizzazz to him. But it is a different type of game. There is not the physicality. You got these teams. The Rockets are doing well. They've got Van Fleet.
Yep,
was doing well. Smith Jr. You got Brooks on defense. They got some players on their team. I mean, obviously, it's a long season, so we'll see where things last. But I want to ask, what is going on with Zion Williamson? There has been patience, and there's patience squared. I don't know what to say to him. There's part of me that is so massively disappointed in him, and then I look at myself, and I'm serious. I'm like, I'm discouraged. He is motivating me starting tonight. Well, it'll be tomorrow morning.
Okay.
That's probably Zion Williamson's problem.
So Zion Williamson's
He
making
is
you do
motivating me because here's a man that could be the best player in the league. He's that good, or top 5.
Yeah.
And he is not only underachieved, he is massively underachieved because of discipline. He has, I don't want to say it in a mean way, but he's like ate himself out of major contracts in the NBA. And as hard as it is, we can look back and say food is an addiction. And it's the only addiction that you take that you have to actually have. So like drugs, you don't have to have some of these things. If you can wean off it, you can never have it again. You have to eat all the time. So if you're addicted to food, it's hard. And I'm serious. I don't know what to do. I feel for Zion, but he needs to have people around him to say, you know what, you are wasting God-given talent. And they just had him. He had a thing with his shirt off recently or whatever. And I know he's pulled his hamstring, but he's hurt all the time because he doesn't have the commitment and the discipline. And it's just sad, and it's a shame. It's not fair to the organization who puts in a ton of money for him. But man, I hope he can make it. So I'm starting tomorrow. I'll even give my stats what I'm going to lose. I did the same thing. Listen, I'm a 49er fan. I've been discouraged. Sometimes you just go through things and you eat too much. I am going to start losing weight. Zion, join me. Let's do this together. Let's get in shape together. So that's what I would say for Zion Williamson. What are your thoughts of Zion?
That's what I gotta say.
Yeah.
When he was in high school,
yeah,
we thought, oh my gosh, there might be another LeBron.
Yeah.
There might be another one. The things he was doing in high school was insane.
Yes.
And then he went to college, and we're like, he looks really, really good. Don't get me wrong.
When he blew out his shoes at Duke,
yeah,
he could jump. I mean, that is a man that could jump. That's a lot of torque on a knee, though.
Oh, yeah. But when he was in college, I think we started to maybe see some of it in college. We're like, maybe this isn't the perfect prospect. Because when he was in high school, we're like, there's LeBron James, right? And then he went to Duke, and it's like, okay, he's still extremely talented. But we could kind of see, maybe there's some red flags going on there, right? And then, he went to New Orleans, and it's like, ever since then, I mean, they gave up Anthony Davis. They get him.
And DeMarcus Cousins blames New Orleans for having good food.
Yeah.
That's this problem.
Yeah. I mean,
they should have never taken him.
That's
because
true.
New Orleans.
They do have great food.
He is an amazing talent, though. Even in the NBA, when he's played at times, he has been really, really good.
This is what I'll say, though. At this point, there's no chance. I'm sorry. At this point, if he hasn't figured it out, there's no chance.
Yeah, it's just sad.
This is what I wonder, though, is like, does he not make enough money to just hire someone to make every one of his meals?
It doesn't make sense. There have been a slew of players that have blown it for stupid reasons. There has been Gordon when he played the receiver for Cleveland. Marijuana.
Yeah.
Cost him $100 million.
Yeah.
Alden Smith, the 49ers. Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alden Smith, he was maybe going to go down as one of the best defensive end. Because alcohol can't handle it. No. And it blew him out of the league. He cost himself an insane amount of money. There has been player after player after player that there's some of it is you look and you say, okay, that's a hard addiction to get over, and some are a little more confusing. So it's hard to understand. I don't know what it is, but there is a discipline. There is an addiction. There's something there. I hope he overcomes it. I'm not trying to make excuses. He can do it. He has to just say, I'm done with this. And I don't know that he can.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't think he's making that decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really sad. So he's out with, he's been out all year with a hamstring, and he'll come back and play a few games and be out again.
Yeah.
And it's sad. I mean, I remember watching Sean Kemp way back in the day. Sean Kemp could jump out of the gym with the Seattle Supersonics back in the day, and he was awesome. And then he just, player after player, Miles, that was one of the top draft pick for the Portland Trailblazers. He blew up and just became, it's just, It's amazing. But sometimes when you have no money and you make a few $1 million, that's like $1 billion.
Oh yeah.
And so, and if you don't grow up in certain, I don't know if there's not disciplines in your family, maybe you don't know how to handle that. I don't know. But anyway, sad. I hope he gets his act together. But I want to spend just a second talking about this.
Okay.
It's time for me to memorialize my 49ers for the 2024.
Do you want to give
25
Do you want to give him 10 seconds? 10 seconds of silence?
No, they don't deserve to. Somebody could get injured during that time. The team has been so decimated. They have 9 of their 11 starters have been out. 1 of their 2 starters plays with a fractured ankle. They're on their 4th running back. Their top 3 running backs IR. They have 4 offensive linemen out right now. It is unbelievable. So here's what we need to do. We need to put a fork in you right now. Don't fake it anymore. Don't win any worthless games. You have no chance of winning at this point. You're not going to block for Purdy. You probably should just protect Purdy and let him sit out and say his shoulder's still hurting. Protect Kittle. Go for the next year. Thank you for a really good run for a while. We're going to hope for next year. But this is absolutely ridiculous. I personally hurt my hamstring at the beginning of the year because I was rooting for the 49ers. I have gained probably 20 pounds this season in depression from all the food I've ate. And so I am going to personally try to do something. I'm going to try to come back. I'm going to get myself healthy again. We're going to come back next year. We're going to have a great NFL draft. Join us for the end because we're going to pick earlier this year, a lot earlier. And we'll see how things go. But the 49ers, it's over. It is over. We're not trying to predict. We're not even going to predict their games anymore, for at least for a while.
You know that your punters on injuries.
We've had 6 kickers on our roster. You only get 52. Who has 6 kickers at different times on your roster? That's insane.
You want me to just go through the list real quick?
Of our players?
Yeah, Kevin Givens.
He just got hurt this week.
Jordan Mason.
He's out this week.
Christian McCaffrey.
Out this week.
Trent Williams.
Out multiple weeks.
Demondor Lenore.
He's out multiple weeks.
Jordan Elliott.
Oh yeah.
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa's out.
Aaron Banks.
These are like major players for your team too.
Yeah.
Chavarius Ward. Listen to this. So Chavarius Ward, I feel so bad. He lost his daughter. And Trent Williams just lost twins.
Yeah.
So he's dealing with 2 losses in his life with his ankle as well. You got Hufanga, who hasn't played all year. Greenlaw, who hasn't played all year. Kittle has missed multiple games. Feliciano, he's a guard for us. He's out.
Bethune.
He's out.
Luthier.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
Wisnowski, your punter.
Yeah, our punter.
Ayuk.
Moody missed multiple, but he's now healthy enough to miss multiple kicks.
Curtis Robinson.
Yep.
Javon
Hargrave. Hargrave out, and that's only
Ambry Thomas.
Ambry Thomas, a cornerback.
Elijah Mitchell.
This is a starting.
Drake Jackson.
Drake Jackson didn't play a game.
You could almost make a whole starting team with this.
Not on both sides.
Yeah, on both sides.
Yeah, Ayuk. You didn't even mention Ayuk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Pearsall got shot. It's unbelievable.
Do you think maybe not only did you guys have the Super Bowl curse, but you guys also had the Madden curse?
Oh, it's absolutely the Madden curse. I do not put a 49er on. In fact, I'm going to pick right now. Patrick Mahomes, we'd like you to be on Madden next year. We think, in fact, the whole Chiefs team, we want the whole team. Kelsey, right there on Madden. We're just going to, Andy Reid, you're on Madden. We're just going to have a trifecta, okay? We'll do more.
Is there any way we could get the whole team, Chiefs team on Madden?
Chris Jones, you're on Madden.
Listen, if they win the Super Bowl.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
If they win the Super Bowl, we got to put them on the Madden cover to at least test it.
It will happen. They're all going to go down. Pacheco and Rice isn't enough. You need to lose 20 players like we have. It's insane.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what our injured reserve list looks like right now?
You're pretty healthy.
Yeah, it's like 2 players that are like actual starters.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
We might get 2 players back here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put them back.
We're not getting ours back, to be fair.
Oh.
They're not coming back.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the 49ers were putting a fork in you. It's over. Let's move on.
Tank for a
Thank
draft
you.
pick.
But yeah, that's it. We're going to get Purdy maybe cheaper. Well, maybe we'll re-sign a couple players because they haven't played all year.
Hey,
so I'm looking forward to
you
the
should
draft.
so sign Purdy in the offseason now. He's going to be
Absolutely.
so much cheaper.
Now's the time to sign him, and maybe we can get Greenlaw and Huff back. Cheap.
Yeah, maybe try to get some of your money back out of Christian McCaffrey. Like, that was kind of a terrible thing he did. He had a good season, and then he went into the office and was like, I want more money. So they gave it to him. And then he doesn't play all season.
He's played a couple games.
See, that's why I always get frustrated with NFL players who want to sit out and not play because they want a contract. Because if they have a bad season, they won't care. They won't care because they're still going to get paid.
I think it's crap when they sit out. I think there needs to be a severe punishment. If you sign a contract, you're saying, I agree to get paid while I'm on your roster.
Yeah. Well, what's dumb?
You should not be able to.
Okay. Let me give you a perfect example. James Bradbury.
Okay.
He was our starting cornerback in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He had a great year that year. He was an all-pro that year. Okay. So we signed him to a long-term contract, 3 years. Technically, it's a 2-year with a third.
Yeah.
Right. So we signed him to a long-term contract in the offseason. Right. He comes back the next year, can't cover anybody. Can't cover anybody. He was graded like the worst cornerback in the league that year, right? We paid him millions of dollars to be an all-pro, and he plays like a no-pro, okay? But then he's still going to get paid for another 2 years, and we have to foot that bill.
Yep, you have to
That
pay.
doesn't seem fair.
No.
When you have people who are then on the other side of that who will sit out seasons because they're not getting paid.
I think there should be severe penalties against it. I think enough's enough. It's garbage. Then you get the Ayuk situations.
Oh, yeah, he screwed you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He baited that hook and took it all away.
I was mad. I said it on here. I was not happy with that. I would have traded him. But anyway, 49ers, it's over. You had a good run. Hey, I'm excited already for the NFL draft. I'm already looking at our position. But this is what the 49ers are going to do. They're going to win worthless games. Worthless games. And then we're going to trade away 2 players to move up to where we could have just picked to start with. And then that player will flop. So
That'll happen.
Just lose.
Okay, so I got a question. How bad of an offer do you think the Steelers and the Commanders were giving for Brandon Ayuk that they didn't accept it? Like they definitely didn't offer a first, because if it was a first, you take that all day long. They would have done.
I think they offered a second and a fourth. That's what I think they offered.
Yeah, but I would even take
that. I think the problem that the 49ers had, which is what Ayuk was able to hold over their head, was you have maybe 2 season window, and you're going to take your main receiver and get rid of him. That could cost you this year's Super Bowl or next year's Super Bowl. And that, boy, dude, we didn't pay one guy, and I think that fear of that cost them. And
that makes sense.
You have to think long term as well as short term. You can't hold on to every one of your players. And then they doubled down. They did 2 mistakes, and then they extended, renegotiated Debo's contract, and Debo's done.
Yeah.
Debo is nothing what he used to be.
Yeah, but it's really almost better to, like, a Brandon Ayuk, get rid of him early in the season. Because later in the season, I mean, the Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins for what, a 4th?
Yes. Yeah, you can get
not the same player. And if they're both healthy, definitely not the same player.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely going to take Brandon Ayuk if he's healthy.
Yeah.
Over DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Now, just because of the age, it's the age thing. It's really the age thing. DeAndre Hopkins is not in his prime anymore.
No. And Ayuk was a great receiver last year. The other thing I think the 49ers did is they wanted to see what Pearsall was going to be like. And unfortunately, he was hurt the whole preseason. So they didn't know what to do.
And unfortunately,
and they kept waiting and waiting.
They were looking at Pearsall, and they were looking at the wrong direction, because Juwan Jennings is an absolute stud.
Yeah, that they did good in the offseason. They signed him to 2 years at least.
Well, they should have signed for 5.
Well, they should have, but at least they got him for 2 years because he was a free agent.
Yeah.
So they did that one. At least they got him. They got him for a great contract.
If you're the 49ers, put him on an extension now.
Yeah.
Because then you don't pay for it for another couple
I
years.
would absolutely take
See, that's why when Howie Roseman does these wide receiver deals, it makes so much freaking sense. Okay, so we paid $25 for Devontae Smith, but we're not going to pay it for another 2 years because we signed it technically in his 4th year of his contract. Sorry, his 3rd year of his contract, and we had a rookie extension. So we're not going to pay his 25 for another 2 years. So not next year, but the year after that.
Yep.
And by the time we get there, 25 is going to be the mid-range for wide receiver market.
And with the value going up every year the cap goes up, it becomes more palatable.
I mean, look at it. The Dolphins are paying 29 for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
And that was a sign right afterwards. And who are you going to take, Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith?
Right.
Right?
Well, yeah. No,
Waddle's good. Don't get me wrong. Waddle's a stud.
Yeah.
But I'm taking Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Now, look at A.J. Brown. Top 5 wide receiver in the league.
And he's what, 29, 30?
No, I think he's 32. I think he's 32. But we're not paying him 32 for another 2 years. Actually, I think A.J. Brown's another 3 years.
Yeah.
I think we have him right now locked in for 5 years total, and I don't think we pay 32 until the third year. Because he was originally 25, as same as Devontae Smith.
2 things you have to hit on. You have to hit on your early round draft picks. And if you're going to pay somebody, they've got to play.
Yeah.
And produce. Eagles are doing it. The 49ers, they're all, how do I say this? Let's just say they're on the sidelines. Pick and dance.
You got to take them while they're cheap.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the NFL.
Okay.
We had, what, was it week 13?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving weekend.
I don't think we plan on talking about this, but I really want to get it started out hot.
Okay. Let's do it.
I know you saw this.
Yeah.
The Al Shazier hit. On Trevor
Lawrence.
Yes. We didn't plan on talking
No,
about
we
that.
needed to talk about this.
But I think we should. And I think Drew would probably like to make this a clip because this is definitely something that I think everyone's talking about right now.
Yes.
Now, Al Shazier, he was actually a 49er.
I know.
Yep. And he went over to the Texans.
Yep.
And honestly, in my opinion, he looks like a top 10 linebacker right now.
He is good. We had 3 really good linebackers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember when Greenlaw went out in one game and he stepped in, I thought, man, that guy's a stud. He could start for another football team.
Yep.
And I like him. Okay?
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Now, okay, the league's fired up about this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me I guess I'll give you everyone's take, and then I'll want to hear what you say, and then I'll kind of give you my take.
Yes.
Okay. So everyone's take basically on the situation is I'm hearing a lot of people talk about the fact that we're actually teaching quarterbacks to do the wrong thing, which is when they're in traffic to slide with their feet first, because it then portrays the head into a position where it's easy for the head to then get whipped back. So I did hear that a lot, which I think is good that people are at least talking about that, because technically speaking, if you are in that situation, I don't think going feet first slide is actually the right thing to do on there. Okay, and then the other thing I'm hearing a lot of people talk about is it's just an absolute dirty hit and he needs to be suspended for 2 games. Okay. What's your take?
Okay, do you want me to tell you my thought? Here's my thought. I did get to see Al Shazier play for a long time. I don't think he's a dirty player at all. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Here's what's happened, and this is what's wrong. We have wussified the NFL so much. I'm not for cheap hits and people getting hurt. I do have a problem with. Football's a violent sport. And when you tell violent people, especially the linebacker position, which is maybe the most violent of all of positions.
Maybe only thing more violent is maybe a fullback.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a car crash every time.
Yeah.
And they are wound up and they have to be to produce. When you tell them go really, really hard, and then a person, while you're starting to launch to tackle, a person at the last second goes like this. If you don't go hard, you get the ginger stroll, which is what Mahomes has done now twice, where people that try to do the opposite, they lighten up like, oh, you're going out of bounds or you're going down, and they lighten up, and then he goes on.
Yeah.
So now what do? If you're a player, you don't want to be that guy that let a guy act like he was doing this and then just kept going. It is a really hard place to be a football player.
You remember when Kenny Pickett was at Pitt and he did the fake slide?
No.
Oh, you don't remember that? Oh,
No.
that's like a big deal.
Okay.
So like Kenny Pickett was at Pitt, and I don't remember who he was playing, but in the game he was running and he did like a fake slide.
Okay.
And then kept on running.
Okay.
And it was a big deal. People made it a big deal because of the fact that it's like, okay, you're now like you're toying with the idea of giving up.
That's the thing I'm talking about.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
So this is what I want to say. I went back and actually rewinded it, slowed it down, watched it.
Okay.
Al-Shazir is like legitimately already striding forward in the moment that you can actually tell that Trevor is now beginning to slide, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
he's in a motion to tackle.
There's a part of the slide where if you slow it down slow enough, it looks like he could be maybe doing a juke or like, maybe, just a little footwork going on there.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's that kind of awkward moment where the feet kind of start to move in a manner to then get into the slide.
Yeah.
Right? And it looks like, he could be shifting directions.
Right.
And that was the moment where I stopped it, and you can see he is already in the power position of I'm now going to go forward.
Right.
Now, I think where I do struggle with the hit is he does bring the forearm, which... But
with your full speed, are you already kind of, he's...
Yeah, but if you're going to tackle someone, you don't tackle someone with your forearm.
Yeah.
You're supposed to tackle them with your arms, or with, your arms out.
Sure.
And your shoulder pads, right?
Sure.
So he shouldn't be tackling with his forearm. This is what I'll say.
Okay.
It was also right at the first down marker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if it was me, I would have hit him.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'm 100% honest.
Listen,
I played middle linebacker. And I can tell you right now, if I had to meet a quarterback at the first down marker, no matter what down it is, too. I'm talking third down, second down, first down. I don't care what it is. If it in my head, I would have knocked him out.
Yep.
I would have knocked him out cold. Now, because you're talking about someone whose your only job is to not give up a first down.
That's the whole game. You stop the first down, and it is I am stopping you, and you are stopping me. It's the Cooper DeJean when he hit against Henry.
Yeah.
It's two men coming at each other, and who's going to win? And when you're at the first down marker, that's everything.
Yeah.
So...
I'll just say I think the forearm part of it is not a good look. I think the forearm part of it's not a good look. I don't think Shazir is necessarily a dirty player. I think he was already in motion of the hit. I think the forearm was probably maybe something he didn't necessarily mean to do. But it's not a good look on the situation.
How many times do you think we don't notice the forearm more tackle like that when it's not your head?
Oh, a ton. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it was necessarily on purpose.
Yeah.
That being said, the forearm doesn't look good.
It just makes it look
because
worse.
Technically speaking, you're not supposed to tackle with the forearm anyways.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, and we probably don't see it a bunch, but technically speaking, they don't like to ever see you tackle the forearm because it's easy for the forearm to go to the head.
Well, it's almost like people are kicking or punching balls out all the time. What if they punch and somebody moves and you're hitting a head and you're causing a concussion? I mean, it's not necessarily the intent. It's some of this stuff I think could be hit the ball out, whatever. I mean, it's hard to know what's in somebody's head, but I think if you're a linebacker, every play is physical and violent, and you do not have the luxury of saying, ooh, I think I'm supposed to be soft on this play versus these other 88 plays that I've got to be violent. So.
Now, he did come out and offer an apology to Trevor Lawrence, and I think the Jaguars. He says he genuinely didn't see him slide until it was too late.
Yeah. I think it's hard. I think it is a hard thing. I know the NFL. I think a lot of it for the NFL is they just don't want to get sued. They have such a reputation with concussions and people like,
This is what he said. It's a little long, but actually I think it's probably worth reading it. I've always played the game as hard as I could, never with the intent to harm anyone. That knows me knows that that's not my goal, is to hit you hard as I can, and then I pray that you're still able to get up and play the next play. See, that's awesome.
Yes, I think good for you.
Yeah.
Come back, Al-Shazir. 49ers will take you.
Yeah. I don't think he's coming back. I think the Texans are probably going to lock him in for the rest of his life.
Yeah, well.
He's a stud.
I think he needs a new scenery, and he needs to come back to the 49ers because we need help. We need a lot of help.
You need a lot more help than that.
Anyway, let's talk about the other games that took place. We all had different reactions and different joys.
How are the Steelers doing this?
The Steelers right now, are they going to win?
Shout out Craig.
AFC North.
Hey, Craig.
We're happy
Brother,
for you.
We're happy for you.
I picked your team. Remember that. I picked your team.
Only because he felt like he had to.
No,
Craig.
I picked your team. Thank you. Are they going to win the AFC North?
Yes.
The Steelers?
Yes.
The Steelers are going to win.
Okay,
and that is
okay.
Drew's favorite team, right? Drew, what do you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I hate the Steelers.
It's the wrong Pennsylvania team. Wait, hold up. Let's look at the remaining schedule for the
my
Steelers. Let's
goodness.
just take a little peek.
I do
Steve.
like Russell Wilson.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the Steelers are gonna go. Man, they got a tough schedule. They got Browns interdivision game.
Okay.
They have the Eagles. They're not winning.
They're
that.
not. I don't think they're going to win that.
They
right
have
now.
the Ravens, which I don't think they'll beat the Ravens
don't either.
twice.
I don't either.
Now I could see them. They'll probably beat the
boy.
Browns, but I don't see them beating the Ravens twice.
I don't either. That's two losses.
Hold up, ready for this? And then they have the Chiefs, who will somehow find a way to kick a field goal at the end of the game.
They will.
And then they had the Bengals to close the season out. And guess who's going to want to ruin their hopes for a win on the AFC North? It's probably the Bengals.
the Bengals.
That's going to be tough. They play out of their last 5 games, they play 3 divisionals.
That's brutal.
And then the other 2 are against the Eagles and the Chiefs.
And the Bengals are the best 4-8 team I've ever seen in my life.
Ever.
Yeah,
Ever. Randy, we should have an award that we just now call the Bengal Award.
We could call it the biggest loser.
No, I just say we make an award and we call it the Bengal Award. And for the future of the NFL, we just crown one team champion of sucking. Because the Bengals quite literally have a football team
Oh my gosh.
that has been so good at not winning.
I don't know how
I mean,
they
they
do it.
are so talented.
I agree.
They score 40 to 50 points a game, I feel like.
Yeah.
And they still don't win.
No.
I've never seen anything like it.
And when your quarterback is playing as good as he is, and
Oh
your
my
receiver
gosh.
is playing as good as he is, you're thinking they've got to have a win.
Okay. If you don't count the playoffs, let's say the end of the season stops, right? And we just call it there. I could easily say Joe Burrow was the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yes.
And I could easily say Jamar Chase was the best wide receiver in the NFL.
And
it's on a football team that's not going to be in the playoffs.
I know. No.
That's insane.
They better get an offensive lineman.
It doesn't make any sense.
It is. It's like you know, people talk about how they have their fantasy teams. That's not me, but a good fantasy team, you know, and it's like I'm only like 3-8, but I have the second most points. Every time I play somebody, they have their best game.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening to the Bengals. I don't get it. Every game they play, it's 40-38, they lose. 20-18, they lose.
They're as unlucky as the Chiefs are lucky.
They're the opposite of that's what they are.
Oh my gosh.
That's exactly it.
Every game.
They are the opposite.
The Dark Lords, the
Yes.
Chiefs.
That's
They put a reverse curse. They put a reverse curse on the Bengals.
Oh, they need a seance down in Cincinnati. We need to remove that. Oh, it's too little.
We thought
too late.
God was on the Chiefs' side.
No.
Really, they just have they have a Uno reverse card on the Bengals.
They do. Something needs to happen. We need to send.
How do you break Drew, can you look up how to break a Uno reverse for me?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so the Ravens have the Giants. That's an easy win.
Yes.
They then play the Steelers for their divisional game. They're on a bye this week currently. And then they have the Texans, Browns. So they don't necessarily have an easy schedule, but they do have the Browns, Giants.
Pittsburgh has a 2-game lead.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, in the loss column.
yeah, but the Ravens are about to have their bye.
Yeah, so the Ravens are about to have their bye.
So,
Woo.
yeah, I mean, it's
That's
gonna
a
be close.
crazy division. That's a crazy division. That's amazing.
I think the Ravens probably have a slightly easier schedule,
Yeah.
but not because it's really that easy. Mostly because the Steelers, I think, just have that hard of a remaining schedule.
Yeah.
But
Well, so
We'll see.
So let's look at. Is there any game that you would like to talk about? Any team that you would like to talk about?
I can't think of one.
Because I want to ask before we go into that. Let's talk about the top 4 teams. Top 2 in the NFC. Top 2 in the AFC.
Okay.
Who are those teams? Who do you have?
You know what's funny? I literally watched a video on the way here about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the NFC is a crazy easy answer.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Eagles, Lions.
Absolutely, they are. The Vikings would be the third alternate, but
Yes.
they are definitely
Mm-hmm.
2 steps below.
But this is the thing: this is what kind of sucks. Is the team that's gonna win that? I feel like has a lot to do with who's gonna have home field advantage. Imagine going into the link and having to play the Philadelphia Eagles in the link. That'd be hard during the playoffs. That stadium's gonna be rocking.
Yep.
And then imagine having to go into Detroit, Michigan.
Yep. Where they've never had the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have to play the Detroit Lions. So I feel like home field advantage is massive here.
Yeah.
So the Lions, now let me tell you, the Eagles have a pretty easy strength schedule for the rest of their main season. The Lions, not so much.
Yeah. I'm sorry the 49ers should be a tough game, but it won't be.
Let's just say it's going to be close. It's going to be really close.
And it might come down to a tiebreaker.
It definitely could come down to a tiebreaker. Yeah. But I will say this. I think it's going to be the Eagles, Lions, and whoever has home field advantage is going to win the game.
Okay.
And then for the AFC.
That's a hard one.
That's a hard
There's
one.
no great team in the AFC.
Yes. Okay, so I'm really on the fence about this because theoretically speaking, I still think it's probably the Chiefs-Bills. But let me say this. The post-conference interview from Lamar Jackson after he lost to the Eagles has me kind of feeling some type of way about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but it does. Because after the thing, he goes, man, I was just getting cussed out by my mom. He goes, because she was telling me, because he has a phone call with his mom after every game.
Yeah,
how cool is that?
That is cool.
But he was like, man, I just got cussed out by my mom. She said I had so many running lanes, and I was just trying to let the plays develop. You know, we had routes that we're trying to develop, and you could just tell that like he's kind of joking about it, but like he's really deep down inside going, I'm just gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
And that's actually scary for most football teams,
especially in the playoffs.
Yes,
because they can run the ball. Then they have him, and then you have to respect their.
Imagine
Zay Flowers and I mean they got 2 tight ends.
Yeah,
and Andrews has been playing really well.
But imagine he says, we're gonna basically just run the double option for the rest of the season, and you gotta protect against.
It's 4 yards a game.
Henry and Jackson.
Oh.
Anyways, so I'm feeling some type of way. I'm gonna say Bills, Chiefs for now.
Okay,
but in the next couple of weeks, I could see the Ravens looking real hot. Now let me say this.
That's fair.
I have the Bills making it.
Yep.
But don't get me wrong. I feel like if the Eagles make the Super Bowl, the Chiefs are somehow gonna make it back there, and it's just gonna be just a bad day for me.
It almost feels like the Chiefs somehow make it no matter what, but they beat terrible teams barely because of missed field goals and lights going out and lightning strikes and hits the ball at the wrong time. But I think the best 2 teams right now are Buffalo. Obviously, we're talking the AFC. I think it's Buffalo, and I think it's the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the playoffs, I think the Chiefs will get bumped by one of those teams. It would not surprise me if the Chargers were able to beat the Chiefs. The way they play defense and run the ball. I don't think there's a lot of teams that are that good in the AFC. I would absolutely be picking Cincinnati over the Chiefs, but I think in a game like that, I think Lamar will have revenge and will win that game. I think Buffalo will win that game. The only thing that's helping the Chiefs is it's going to be an Arrowhead, but I think they're out. And I think the Eagles, by far, best defense in the league.
There's no guarantee that it's going to be an Arrowhead, though. The Bills are only 1 game behind them.
They are. That's true.
And the Chiefs don't have an easy schedule coming up.
So we'll see. They just had their easy schedule.
Yeah.
And they're barely beating cruddy teams. Yeah. So, but Eagles, Lions, right now.
You know, let me just remove the Eagles fan out of myself for a second and just give me 5. This is really hard to do.
It's really hard.
No, I know. I got to focus, though.
Just
give me a
try
second.
not to fly. Eagles fly.
I'm grounded.
Okay. Yes.
As a football fan of just fandom, I think the most unique Super Bowl it would just mean the world to 2 different fan bases is to see a Buffalo Bills Detroit Lions Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine? You have small, hardworking class Detroit, Michigan,
never winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got Buffalo
0-4.
the team that has never been able to finish, never been able to do it, and they come from
That's a good story.
the west side of Richfield, basically.
Oh,
right? You know,
I know what those
the
streets
tough
were
side.
Like. You got to.
I think those are two massive fan bases.
Yes.
That both have not had the opportunity to shine on the big stage.
Yeah.
And I think you would see two amazing fan bases, Bills Mafia and the Lions, come together and just have an absolute outstanding game.
It would be fun.
So
that was good. You were able to go outside of yourself. But we all know.
But I'm back. And go Birds, dang it.
There we go. The Birds, you were pretty excited this weekend.
Yeah, I was pretty fired up.
Even though you got drop kicked by Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
How is that not a penalty, Drew? I hope you show that clip.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson.
Do me a favor.
Drop kicks, and it's okay.
Isaiah Rodgers took one right to the dome, just a foot right to the dome.
You have Al Shazier gets, but you can kick a guy?
A forearm to the head's okay, but a foot to the head, not so much.
This is a karate kick.
Yeah.
So anyway, but your team looks really good, and when you have a rookie when your Cooper, knocked the pooper out of Henry, that was unbelievable. Henry started going one way, and I think I heard Kittle say this one. The best thing is when you take a person and you make them move against their will. And Henry is one of the hardest guys to do it, and he literally knocked the crap out of him. Now, his helmet, I don't know how to say that. I don't want to say it the wrong way, but Cooper's helmet was in a precarious position on Henry.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Henry is able to walk.
Yeah.
But that was impressive.
That was a huge hit.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
Woo. I mean, Cooper ain't gained some stuff with a lot of people. And Henry's got to go, ooh, okay.
We came into that game, remember what we said? We had the number, one or two rushing defense going up against Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Who's the number one rushing in the league right now. And then you have the Philadelphia defense, who's the number one overall defense, going up against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, who combined are probably they're probably close to 2,000 yards rushing right now combined.
Yeah, wow. Barkley looks good. I'm not even going to say it. I'm glad their team is doing well and that you guys are relatively healthy.
So let me give you my 3 highlights.
Okay.
Highlight number 1. I think that this defense is turned up in a manner that I've never seen before.
Yeah, they are
it's insane.
Night and day difference from
insane.
what I saw last year.
I mean, we have
That's
our
awesome.
Our average. I talked about this with you the other day, but our average age of player is 25 years old.
Yeah,
that's so young. That's so young. Most of our guys are barely in their first contract, and some of them are barely in their second. That's insane. The back end of our defense, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship. Reed Blankenship left the game with a concussion. He's going to be okay. But then we have our corners. Darius Slay still out by Isaiah Rodgers, played a great game, even after getting kicked in the face by Lamar Jackson. Quinyon Mitchell, you might as well just shut the whole side of that field off for Quinyon at this point. In fact, Bateman left the game with some fake injury. He was so upset about the situation, which I can understand. Yeah. And man, now this is okay. So on the defense, we got Quinyon Mitchell having a great season. Cooper DeJean has a great tackle, great play, fires up the team. Nakobe Dean, Zach Bonner, our linebackers, playing all out, doing great. I do want to talk a bunch about Jalen Carter. In that game, he didn't have a single pass snap that he wasn't double teamed, and he still made his presence felt the whole entire time. He is playing, and I don't want to speak the name of Aaron, okay, because that's just a different human being. He has an opportunity to be there maybe one day, but not right now. But he is playing at a Fletcher Cox level at the defensive tackle that we haven't seen in Philadelphia since Fletcher Cox. He's being double teamed on almost every play, and he's opening up the defensive line to be able to do so much more because he's taking that on.
Well, if you protect the ball and you're a defense, and Jalen does have an arm, you have receivers that are good. You got a tight end. You've got the best right now running back in the league.
Yep.
that can catch or throw. As a defense, you're scared to death.
You know-
And you're not. It's not 1st and 10 with them.
Yeah.
It's 1st and 9, because if they get to the 1 yard away, it's tush push. They're
Yeah.
the only team that's dominated this. So you add that to the number 1 defense. You gotta be happy.
I think the really cool thing too is going into that game, everyone said, well, we're going to have to see Jalen Hurts throw for 300 yards. They're just not going to be able to run the ball against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
And we stuck to our guns. We played what we do best, and we ran the ball. We stuck to it.
I think what's going to be interesting about you guys is if you win the turnover battle and you can pressure the quarterback. If you had a great edge rusher,
I know. Man.
that would be a ridiculous team.
I would love to just spend it all and get a stud on the defensive end.
That would be impressive. But if you can win those, you can beat anybody.
Yeah.
And so you got to be happy. So
Our
enjoy it.
our defensive ends aren't necessarily bad. Losing Brandon Graham hurts, but our defensive ends aren't necessarily bad. We have massively dominant defensive tackles. We probably have 4 defensive tackles that could all start.
But
on
what's helping you is
90%
if your
of football teams.
cornerbacks are able to lock up their receivers, then it takes quarterbacks a little bit longer, and receivers, it takes longer to break their routes. And so you're able to get away with not having that elite pass rushing.
Yeah. We got I think 35, 36 sacks in the year, which isn't crazy a whole lot.
Yeah.
But
You're still number 1 defense.
we need that guy though, Randy, that strikes fear into the
Yeah.
quarterback. He can't sleep right that day.
Yeah.
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 Anyways,
Well,
but
I
yeah,
gotta-
we're feeling good.
I got a question. If the Eagles go all the way to whether they win the Super Bowl or not, what do you think Jason Kelsey's going to be thinking?
Oh, he's gonna be kicking
Oh,
himself so
that would
hard.
be hard.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine the year after you retire? Not only will he be kicking himself so hard, because this is the thing. This is why I'm gonna say that I know this for a fact that he will be kicking himself, is because of the fact that he came out and said something about Saquon Barkley when Saquon was having a good season. He had this was 5-6 games in. He's like, I just sucks not to be able to have Saquon back there.
Yeah.
You go your
You
whole
could tell
career
and never have
blocking for above average running backs.
Yeah.
Not great,
Yeah.
above average running backs.
And
the year after you
get a
retire,
freak of nature.
they get a freak of nature
Yeah,
back there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh.
That sucks.
That
sucks.
That would suck. He was burnt out.
Oh yeah.
But that would suck. It'd be like, give me 2 years before you do it. 3 years. Let a little gap happen, but 1 more year. But that's tough.
Do you think it would suck more for him if they win the Super Bowl or if they made it to the Super Bowl and lost?
I think if they- I think-
Oh, that's a
He'd be
great
more
question.
upset.
I would say if they won the Super Bowl. I know he loves his team and he's going to say all the right things because he's a good guy. Okay, I believe that. Inside the dark side of you, he'd be totally jealous. You're a human being, and you put in blood and sweat and concussions and all the things that you've got, and they go win, you'd be like, ugh. Now I know what you're saying. If they lose, you could say, oh, maybe you were the missing piece and all that kind of stuff. But I think losing could be like, okay, at least they didn't win. He'd never say it because he's a good man.
The sucky thing is though,
But if they won without him, that would be hard.
Okay, so a lot of people at the beginning of the season were really upset because losing Jason Kelsey, it's like you lose a huge player. I actually think it would have been worse for us not to have Jason Kelsey retire. I know that kind of sounds crazy. Jason Kelsey himself was still playing at a very elite level, and he probably would have played at a very elite level this year too, right? But Cam Jurgens, who is the center that took over for him, was actually moved over to guard in the meantime so he could, because he was a very talented player, but we needed to put him somewhere to keep him going. So we played him at guard. The thing is our new guard, Mekhi Becton, guy's a freak of nature. He is a stud. He did not do well at tackle for the Jets, but he brought him into Philadelphia. We got him some of that good old-fashioned running plays
Philly
at guard.
guard action.
Now he's a 6'7" guard that can
Yeah.
block anything, and
Oh
he's
my
a stud.
gosh. Yeah.
So I actually think it's better for our
I see what
offense
you're saying.
because of the
Overall.
fact that now Cam Jurgens isn't our guard, and we have a stud at guard.
It's easier because he did win a Super Bowl, but losing right afterwards and getting all these players. Because if you're him, they were terrible at the defensive back position last year. Terrible. And if I'm him, I'm like, I'm sitting there going, seriously, you went 2 for 2 with awesome cornerbacks, and you got Barkley. You took all of our weaknesses and made them strengths.
Yeah, and he doesn't get to benefit from it.
And I am not there, and that would just suck. So let's talk about the games coming up.
Okay.
So we all went 5-1. I got the Pittsburgh game right. Okay, you got the Eagles game wrong.
Drew didn't make up one game on you?
No, he picked with you. Yeah.
Sorry, Drew.
Yeah.
When the Eagles
right.
won, I was so stoked for you. I was like, Drew's gonna make up one on Randy.
No.
Dang.
No.
I was excited about that.
My bad.
No. So we all got everybody got the Lions game, which was actually barely. What is up? By the way, I'll just say this real quick. Why are the Bears not able to understand what this means? How can you be at this level and not recognize sometimes taking your hands into this motion can cause a win, or this motion can cause a loss?
What's crazy?
They have had some
they just
hard
let it
losses.
happen.
They just said, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to help my young rookie quarterback. Time's clicking. Let's do like motion, and let's do hike the ball on 18. Hut, 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 hut. Game over. Crap. I was only 3 huts away.
Michael was laughing so hard.
That's insane.
At that last
and
minute.
then you go to the podium. This is the worst thing in the world to me. You go to the podium, and why on the earth can we not in this world say I screwed up?
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh, no, that was the right decision. I thought with 10 seconds to go, 10 huts, we should do 10 huts, it's 4 motions, and never even attempt to try to win the game. That's insane.
I do. That is one argument I have about the world we live in today.
Just say
people
I
are
screwed up.
so afraid to say they just screwed up.
Why? And you know what they always say in the offseason? You know what I like about my quarterback? And I agree with this, is when they take, good quarterbacks will throw for 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and say, I should have made more plays.
Yeah.
And coaches should do that too. Just say I screwed up. You know what? In retrospect,
I should have called a timeout.
we should have called a timeout. How do we know that? You're not fooling anybody. We all know it. Everybody's sitting there going, what is going on? The announcers are saying you botched it. Everybody knows you botched it. And then you go to the podium. Oh, no. That was a really good decision. And it showed by the fact that we lost. Anyway.
Every Cowboys game, Jerry Jones.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, see, we actually meant to do it that way.
Yeah. That was all part of the plan. We're gonna lose games we want to win, and we're gonna win games we want to lose.
That's how we roll.
That's in Jerry world. Anyway, so sorry I went on that. That was a surprise.
Before another word comes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Give me the Packers.
So we all picked the Lions. We all picked the Packers. You did switch at the end, which you were able to do, and that was smart that you did it, because the Dolphins do not know how to play
In cold weather.
No.
What is that? What is
No.
that about?
Well, they're in Miami. Welcome to Miami.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? They're used
They're
to
used
80.
to the water being warm.
Yeah, not frozen. Like, they're confused that they go, that they play in that season. It's a totally different game. Totally different
They're
game.
not just bad; they are god awful.
Cowboys Giants. That was an ugly game, and the Cowboys won, which is just awesome. Hey, Troy, congratulations. Grant, congratulations. Your Cowboys have now won a couple games, so I know that's probably not going to help your draft. And
So what you're saying is there's still a playoff chance. For the
oh,
Dallas
that's true.
Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Go Cowboys. You can do it. You've got a little streak going, but I would love to see Trey Lance try to play.
I'm
going
gonna clip you saying "Go Cowboys."
Yeah, clip it and delete it. The Bills won
Yep.
by a slight margin.
Mhm.
It came right down to the wire. After they were anyway, that was a what would I say? I would say that game was over
We went to the
halfway through we went and watched a movie in the second half. I left to go to the movie theater to watch a movie and didn't know what movie I was going to go to. But no matter what depressing movie we watched, it was not going to be as bad as the second half.
I said, Randy, you don't want to watch
No,
this.
that's the first time I just said, let's go. I need popcorn, and I gained a little bit more weight. I'm going to say it. But Zion's got me back on track.
I am an optimist when it comes to watching games. I never leave early.
Yeah.
I watch like Uncle Rick. He'll leave like in the fourth quarter, and you're
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing? We still got game left."
Yeah.
I this is like the first game that I just at the halftime I just turned it off. I was like,
I was
this is
so
over.
sad when McCaffrey got hurt, and he just kind of goes down. I'm like, all right, there's something going on.
Cameron did predict that.
Yeah,
upset
that
about
was really brutal. Anyway, so those games, but we all went 5-1.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
we're all still killing it overall. Trent, you have the lead, 38-20.
Mm-hmm.
I am 37-21. Drew is 35-23. We're not sure where Cameron is right now.
He's somewhere.
We're trying to figure that out. He's in fourth place. But he's not been able to be with us for a little while.
We
What were
miss you,
those
Cameron.
numbers again?
It was Trent is 38-20. I am 37-21. Drew, you are 35-23. And I have Cameron's from a while ago. But let's pick some games coming up. We've got the Bears, Lions. Oh, excuse me. That was last week.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Packers Lions.
I apologize. Packers and Lions this week.
And I told you already.
Yeah.
Give me the Packers.
Now let me ask you a question.
That's only because I want the Lions
Yes.
to lose.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you.
Give me the Packers. Give me the Packers. I'm willing to lose my record if the Packers win.
Okay.
It means that much to me, Randy.
I get it. I do get it. I've done that. I've made that.
I'm writing it
mistake.
down right now. I can't even change my answer after I do this. This is
Oh,
pen, not
I'm-
pencil.
I've seen different from you. I'm going to say this right now. You know what? You're 2 for 2 on.
Wait, is
changing
it
your
at the
picks.
Packers or at the Lions?
you're already considering it. It's in Detroit.
I'm still taking the Packers.
Okay. I'm going Lions.
Yeah, sure you
Let the Lions roar.
Oh, okay. Here we go. We got Drew and I
Yeah, whatever.
are on the same page on this one. Okay. Now this game is a sleeper game. Sleeper game. We got Panthers and Eagles. The Panthers have swooped back and still lost, but come close a couple times against some good teams. What do you got?
Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles. Eagles by
Listen, I actually almost bought tickets to this game because they were so cheap.
Eagles. Drew, what about you? Eagles, Panthers.
I'm going Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles good, Panthers bad. So that made it easy for me.
Except against the Chiefs. They almost won that game.
I know. Bryce Young is looking a lot better.
He's looking better.
It's not going
I
to look
don't-
good after Cooper
I
DeJean
don't
hits him,
think.
though.
I know he came back, and I'm proud of him for his comeback. But
Yep.
I don't think things are going to fare
Didn't the
well.
Seahawks and Cardinals just play?
Seahawks and Cardinals are playing again.
Didn't they just play like 2 weeks ago?
Well, that happens sometimes in the division. So they are playing. Who do you have? I have my team already picked.
Oh,
Already
you want to
ready.
hear my team
This is the
first?
hardest game for me to pick.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I am going with the Cardinals.
That's a
Me
terrible.
too.
I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. I think they are better. The Seahawks were extremely fortunate to win that game. If it's not for a 90-yard defensive end getting a interception return for a touchdown, they don't win. They have done really well. Good for you. But the Cardinals are going to win this game, according to me.
Listen, now that we know, what's your guys' division against the NFC East?
We're NFC West.
You guys are,
Against the NFC?
sorry,
East?
you guys are NFC West. Okay.
We're NFC West, yeah.
NFC West division.
So I mean, so the
Standings.
they're 7-5. The Seahawks. I mean, everybody's within 2 games.
Yeah, but now that we know the 49ers are out.
We didn't.
Now that we know
listen,
that we
they
know
are not in this game.
now
we
that we
memorialized
know the 49ers are out.
them. We already memorialized them.
It's going to be the Rams, Cardinals, or Seahawks.
It's not going to be the Rams.
Oh my gosh. You missed a huge, huge important thing on this. I'm taking the Seahawks.
Okay. What is it?
I'm not telling
Well, I already picked them.
No, because you can switch your picks. Still.
I locked it in.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The Seahawks have a better win streak away this year.
Whoop-de-ding-doo.
They're 4-1.
It's in Arizona.
They're 4-1 away this year.
The Cardinals. This is your sleeper pick.
Yeah, you know what the Cardinals are?
You're going
At
against
home?
your sleeper pick.
I know. I do.
No, you can't switch again. You are going to get a negative 0.25 penalty. Drew, who do you have? If you want to switch, you can.
I'm going Cardinals. This is the game that I have the least confidence in my answer,
'Kay.
but I'm going Cardinals.
All right.
No, I'm gonna stick with the Seahawks.
He says, I'm not switching. And then he thought for the last 2 minutes of switching. Okay.
I'm gonna regret this, but
Okay. Chargers, Chiefs.
Oh, Lord.
The Battle of the Seas. I would say two of the most overrated quarterbacks this year. Actually, I think Herbert's playing better. I think, who do you guys have? This is in Arrowhead. That helps. I would have picked the Chargers without a doubt if it wasn't an Arrowhead.
yeah, but SoFi Stadium is basically everyone else's home team.
Yeah, but it's not the same as
Being in
Arrowhead.
Arrowhead,
Arrowhead
yeah.
is just a different place. But it's a really hard one because Jim Harbaugh he puts a team together that is great on the road. He has designed his teams always about running the ball and playing defense, and that travels. That travels in weather. That travels in all situations. So if somebody can do it, it can be the Chargers. That being said, I'm going to go with the Chiefs, and I'm not happy about it. I think the Chiefs are terrible. Yeah, they have Pacheco back. They still barely win the same game.
Got me nothing in fantasy, by the way.
Yeah. But I could switch my pick here. I mean, it's a Chiefs at home. They're barely beating terrible teams always, but I'm honestly not overly impressed with the Chargers. They've made good strides.
Yeah, and then the Broncos. Look
Yeah.
at them.
I know the Broncos are what, 8-5, I think now?
You know what's crazy?
So-
You remember who my two sleeper picks were at the beginning of the year? You remember who they were?
Cardinals.
Yep.
And was it the Chargers?
Nope.
Who?
It was the Colts.
Oh, it's the Colts.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And
Well-
and both are in the hunt.
Yeah.
Both are in the hunt.
Okay.
We'll see.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, just give me the Chiefs.
Chiefs, what about you, Drew?
I think Chiefs, but the Chargers are one of those teams that I feel could beat them. I did feel stronger about Buffalo. I felt they were going to win that game. And this one, I could see it happening, but I'm still going to go Chiefs with
I
this
so
one.
want to
But I
pick the
don't
Chargers
think
right
it's going
now.
to go that
You can
long for
if
them.
you want to.
No, I'm not gonna.
No, you can do it.
I'm not going to.
No, you should.
I locked it,
No, you should do it.
but
I think you should.
Give me
I-
Kermit.
I think it'd be good for you.
Oh
Listen,
my
if you
gosh.
pick the Chargers and you win out, you could be ahead of me by the end of the week.
I'm gonna be ahead. I already have 2 games different than you, don't I?
Yeah, but that would only
Yeah, that put me one
that
up.
put you one up.
That's all I needed.
You could have a
I didn't want to blow it on this.
you could
game.
have a big lead though, a commanding lead.
Or I could be down there with Cameron. Sorry, Cameron. Anyway, well, we'll see what happens in the NFL. We got some fun things going up.
And my name's
You-
Trent.
you-
and I'm gonna regret those
You
picks.
you got a team right now. Not only are you playing well, but you're rapping well.
Yeah.
You've got two cornerbacks. They've got songs out there about them.
Yes.
And it's something to be listening to.
Yep.
So it could be your year. Fly, Eagles, fly. The 49ers are dry. So, I mean, we got nothing, but good for you guys. We'll see what happens next week. Enjoy. Please hit that subscribe button if you like. Please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to us. And we will see you next time. And we had a lot of comments this last week. Really appreciate it. Tell us what you agree with, what you disagree with, whatever you think. If you like what we're saying, if you agree with some of the things or you disagree, we're good with it all. Thank you for joining us. Drew?
Go
Yeah.
Birds at this point.
Go Birds right now. And 49ers.
Rest in peace.